Welcome to the City of Paris Planning Commission meeting. Happy New Year to everyone. Sorry for the slight delay, but we had a few things we had to take care of. Anyway, we want to start the meeting January 17, 2024, approximately 6:10 p.m. And we'll start with a roll call.
Commissioner Gomez,
Here.
Commissioner Lopez,
Here.
Commissioner Jimenez,
Here.
Vice Chair Shively,
Here.
Chair Hammond.
Here.
Thank you.
At this time, we will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Gomez.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin.
Seeing that we don't have any presentations, unless staff is surprising me that they do, I don't think so. We move to the consent calendar. That's what I get for drinking soda. Consent item A, Planning Commission member meeting minutes for December 20th, 2023. Are there any corrections, additions, deletions?
Yes.
Okay.
The item for, I don't have it in front of me, I'm so sorry, but I did write notes. I believe it was the last, the second to last, the promenade on Ramona Expressway. At the end, we found that it says that it was approved or recommend for approval. However, we recommended denial. And that's what we had voted on. The Ramona Expressway Promenade,
6A.
6A, I believe,
6C.
6C.
Oh, okay.
Commissioner Gomez, the motion that was made was for denial for the specific plan amendment and associated project items related to the warehouse or the industrial building and the commercial development along Ramon Expressway, where again is Mike Nagar.
Okay, okay.
Just to clarify for the record and for your consideration, this is for item 6C, SPA 2205047. I did want to have staff update the motion as recommend denial versus deny, since it is in the purview of the city council to deny or approve, but the planning commission recommends denial or approval. So I did want to clarify that language for the record
Okay.
and for these minutes.
Thank you. I must have seen it somewhere else while I was reviewing it at home. I didn't bring it with me, so I don't remember exactly where it was. Right. Okay, thank you.
Well, that's a catch, yeah, because it does say ayes. And, yeah. So we clarified 6C, right? Yes. Okay. Anything else? Okay. That's it? Oh, okay, okay. At this time, we open up for public comment on a consent calendar. Does anyone have public comment on the consent calendar? Seeing none, we close that portion and bring it to a motion. It's been moved by Commissioner Lopez and seconded by Commissioner Gomez.
Sorry. Commissioner Gomez,
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Jimenez,
Yes.
Vice Chair Shively,
Yes.
Chair Hammond.
Yes.
With a vote of 5-0, this motion is approved.
Thank you very much. At this time, we move on to public hearing item number 6A, conditional use permit 22-05284. Continued from December 6, 2023 meeting. Proposal to construct a 27,132 square foot church building on a 3.72 acre lot located at 251 North Paris Boulevard on the east side of Paris Boulevard between San Jacinto Avenue and the I-215 freeway. Within the Civic Center zone of the Paris Downtown Specific Plan, the applicant Melinda Reyes, and the requested action is adopt resolution number 23-37, finding the project is categorically exempt from California Environmental Quality Act review pursuant to section 15332, infill development projects, and approving CUP 22-05284 based on the findings and subject to the conditions of approval. And once again, just for the record, we'll ask for any ex parte communication or site visits at this time.
Drove by the site, and I was part of the ad hoc committee.
I was part of the committee as well.
I drove by the site.
I also drive by the site.
You've been by the site several times. Thank you. And with that, we move on to the presentation.
Good evening. Thank you, Chairman, and good evening to members of the Planning Commission, and congratulations on the many birthdays this month.
Yeah.
Once again. My name is Alfredo Garcia. I'm your associate planner, and as mentioned this evening, we have before you the Vida Christian Church conditional use permit. A little bit on the location. The project site is located in the Paris Downtown Specific Plan with the civic use land use designation. To the north and to the east, we have the 215 freeway. To the west, we have Foss Fields and the City Hall. And to the south, we have the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, all with civic land use designations as well. A little bit of background. The project went before the Planning Commission on December 6 of 2023. The Planning Commission at that time voted to continue the item to allow the applicant to address some architectural concerns that came up in the discussion. And that was to be done with the aid of the ad hoc committee meeting. I apologize, I'm trying to fight a little bit of something, so I'm constantly clearing my throat, so I'm sorry. With respect to the ad hoc committee meeting on December 20th of 2023, the committee met to discuss the project. The recommendations included the building elevations to be revised. Within those revisions, we had fake windows along the upper central area of the south elevation of the building. The east and the north elevations, including arch windows above the entry doors. The 4 tower elements surrounding the building consisted of full height vertical window arch from the top that stretched down to the bottom. Wood rafters were proposed just below the roof lines of each of the tower elements as well. The roofing material was revised, incorporating a lightweight concrete shingles as opposed to the architectural asphalt shingles. And the materials were revised to better illustrate the proposed three-dimensional color scheme that was presented before the Planning Commission. And the conceptual landscape plan was also revised to include the additional parking lot trees as well, and the uplighting. Excuse me. As you can see in this image, we have the previous three-dimensional view, and at the bottom we had the amended image. As you could see, or if I could place your attention on the end towers, you could see where it's no longer just a horizontal flat, and we have kind of a pitched angle feature that exposes some rafters. Also, just behind it, we no longer just have 2 elements of windows, but we have one large vertical window that extends from the bottom almost to the top of the tower element for full vertical articulation, if you will, and it's arched or rounded to complement the arched rafters that are in the center of the building. Here we have the 2D south elevation, and I believe Ms. Arvizu might have a 2D color scheme that staff put together that kind of best illustrates the materials being proposed as well. Again, as mentioned, on the top we have the previous image, and at the bottom we have the amended. As you can see, there's the central fake windows in the center of the wall of the building. And also, for symmetry purposes, the towers are showing the exposed rafters, the arched windows, and the full window articulation as well as the revised roofing material too. Excuse me. Here, the elevation, same theme is carried on the towers, and in the center we have the windows being arched as well, softening the look, creating a more inviting look, if you will, to the building. And here we have the west elevation. This will be the elevation along North Paris Boulevard. Again, carrying the window articulation, the exposed rafters, the arched windows, and the roofing material also being changed. And we have the east elevation, again, same architectural elements on all sides. And this is the same schematic, I believe, you have in your hands as well. That shows the materials and the colors being proposed. And if there's a little offsite, it's because, our printer, each printer's calibrated slightly different, but, Here we have the landscape plan, the revised landscape plan, which just added 790 square feet more of landscaping, as well as added more shade trees along the eastern boundary of the project site of the along the building. I believe the only 37 shade trees were being required, and the applicant is providing 42 in this case. With respect to the development standards, nothing changed and are still being met. Also with the parking standards. With respect to CEQA, the project is still categorically exempt under infill development projects. With that said, staff's recommendation this evening is for the Planning Commission to adopt PC Resolution 2337, categorically exempting conditional use permit 235284 under infill development, and approving conditional use permit 235284 based on the findings and subject to the conditions of approval. And that concludes my presentation, and I'm here for any questions that the commission may have. This evening, we also have representative from the architects design team and 2 members from the church, Mr. Joel Munoz, I believe, here from the Vida Christian Church.
Thank you very much, and we're going to keep in doing what we normally been doing, and have the developer would like to come up and make a presentation or make any statements. Now would be the time. Just state your full name and spell your last name for us. That's all.
Hello, my name is Joel Munoz, M-U-N-O-Z. Just want to take the time to just thank you guys for your advice and your concern on this project. As a resident here, we have the vision for the church to reach out to the community. And a lot of people are now currently looking for places to congregate. And we consumed a lot of the people actually during the pandemic. A lot of smaller churches stayed down. And thank God that we had the financial resources to get a tent and to continue the services. So we believe, our church is going to be a safe haven for a lot of families, and we do minister to a lot of variety of backgrounds of families. So we do appreciate you guys for supporting the vision of this church and for partnering with us in this plan. So that's all I have. Anything else? Oh, any questions for me? Yes.
Okay. Are there any questions at this time for staff or questions for the developer?
I got a question for staff real fast. Under the standards, you show that the building width is 20 to 100 feet. Is that what it's supposed to be is? Because with the proposal, it's 183 feet? Is that a typo of some sort? For building width, 200 to 100 feet?
Oh, I believe, yeah, I believe it is a typo.
Oh, 183,
So,
that'd be humongous.
so is it,
83 feet?
you don't know right offhand what it's supposed to be?
I missed that.
I'll check.
And for the owner, the only question I have is, reviewing this, what is your thought of the new architectural layout compared to the original? Do you like this layout better, or
Yes, this does seem inviting. You can see that it's not as like blocky in some sections. The
Yeah.
curvature make it seem a lot more inviting. So I agree with it. The color scheme looks great. And the current shade for the landscaping is also gonna make it look much more warmer, especially coming from the freeway. A lot of people see it and it just kind of seems kind of bland there, but the trees will make it a lot more greenery to the city of Paris. As we can see, it's all just kind of dead land going into the south side. So I think it's gonna be very inviting for a lot of families that come here.
Thank you.
I still am, and I was the one that brought up the color scheme, because I really liked it being projected, and we still can't see a true representation of what the colors are, because even when you did the little lines connecting it, it still doesn't match what's there, but it's hard to see because we don't have the material board. So just, I don't know if that's something that staff can work on, because it looks kind of creamy on top. It's like a creamy peachy color here. But down here, it's like a cooler color. Because I kind of like the cooler colors, more neutral colors on there, so that the wood paneling really pops out as a warmth and really balances that out. So just making sure that the color scheme is as
Matches
close.
the rendering as much as possible.
Yeah, because it looks beautiful like this, the warmth and the cool, and with the greenery and all, it'll look beautiful. So I just want to make sure it looks like this, because it looks beautiful like this. And with such a beautiful building, I wouldn't want the wrong color on there, and then forever you're like, God, that's not the color I picked.
Of course.
Okay, that, I think that was my only question. Oh, can we go back to the landscape plan, please, real quick? So there's gonna be trees, and on one of the renderings, it looked like on the south side, there was gonna be kind of vines against the building. Was that there too, or was it just gonna be trees?
I believe a fake vine element
Okay.
would have been, is going to be incorporated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh?
You were real vines.
I don't think we ever said.
Would it be possible to not have an artificial vine there? A good example would be the shopping center where there's fake vine. It gets, the sun deteriorates it, and then it just looks worse than if it were a bare vine. So can we consider possibly putting either a real vine there or just removing it?
Okay. Staff will work with the applicant in amending the landscape plan to
Okay.
incorporate vines along the south side.
All right.
Let me just write that down before I forget.
Live, yes, live ones. Thank you.
And for the uplighting, was it only gonna be, it was only gonna be along Paris, right?
Correct. The building already incorporated additional uplighting as well, accommodating the new fully articulated windows. So before, there was uplighting or accent lighting, if you will, between the windows. And now since the windows take up an entire vertical panel. The lights are now on the side, so
I
you get
said
more
there's
lights,
some from on
actually.
top and,
Right.
yeah, okay. I think that was it for me, thank you.
Looking at the landscape plan too, I think where we're talking about vines there, it's not necessarily showing that those vines will have to work with staff on the vines on that portion on the south side, where you have the fake, almost looks like garage doors, but fake windows. So I think the vines would be going right up against there, right? Is that was supposed? It's not here. We've got nothing showing here, but I think you're talking about vines on the south. I guess that's the south side.
No, the one before, I think it's the slide before, that one.
Yeah, that would be vines and not bushes there. The right-hand side. So I think that's what you're talking about. The
That is
vines.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So right there, the image, just as you could see, just on the right a little
Yeah,
bit,
okay.
underneath the trellis feature.
Okay.
Is it also on the north side?
We did not. It wasn't incorporated on the north side, just on the south side.
Okay.
I think mainly because it had the blank, kind of blank, just white, to soften it up. Okay. Okay. Yeah. That was just before that.
Correct.
yeah.
So
So
it'll
that wouldn't
be
be
in
just
the
that
on the
blank.
bottom image of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. So it wouldn't just be that blank. Okay. Okay. Any more questions for staff or for? Okay. I do have one. I think it was told to me, but I just want to clarify. It says wood, new tech wood, so we're not talking about real wood. We're talking about almost like the laminated type floors or something that's durable for weather and heat and all the things that go in Paris. So
Yes.
artificial wood, I'm not, that's what you might be more with the type of wood, fake wood we call it, I don't know what you call it, but tech wood. So that would, knowing this city, I mean, it
It gets hot.
it
Yes.
wears things out in a year. So, okay, okay. Wasn't quite sure about that one, but the rest of it, okay. Okay, that's it for the, oh, you got a question? Oh, okay. Touching the, I never know here, right? Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And at this time, unless staff has questions, which I don't think they do. At this time, we open up public comment. And anyone anyone who would like to comment on this item is welcome to comment on this item and this item only. Seeing no public comment, we're going fast tonight, guys. Seeing there's no public comment, we close the public comment portion and bring it back to the commission for any discussion, comments, feelings.
We able to find out that dimension?
Commissioner Shively, the downtown specific plan allows for the width of the building to be wider than 100 feet. If it has significant architectural distinctions that are with vertical elements that allow it to be, and it allows it to be wider than 100 feet. So being that this building provides the tower elements and other vertical elements, we feel that it was appropriate to go over 100 feet.
Almost double it?
It doesn't give you a maximum width, but it just allows it to go over 100 if it has architectural elements that justifies it.
Okay. It's not correctly stated in the document from 2 to 100. There's an asterisk on it that says, go beyond it.
So it is actually 183 feet, okay. Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. Anyway, back to the commission for any comments.
I want to personally thank the applicant for at least taking the opportunity and going back to the ad hoc committee. I really wanted to be at that meeting, but thankfully Commissioner Gomez was able to step in for myself. I think it much more successful appearance, more inviting. I think the church is going to be happier with this one. It's not a box like it was before. It definitely has more elements in there. The back windows on the sanctuary. I think you'll like them a little bit more. It's much more inviting space than what it was before. So I'm glad I'm glad you took the time to go through it one more time and put some more effort into it, so I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to just mention that I'm also very happy with the applicant and the architecture and listening to our feedback. It does, I do like the way it ended, especially with the added features of the windows, and I think it's definitely the more longer-lasting roof as well. That was something that I had mentioned last time. So I look forward to seeing the building finish, and I do agree with you when you say that it's going to be something nice to look at off the freeway, and also the overpass. I think we have like a bridge there as well. So, yeah, and the trees as well. It's going to add nice greenery. So thank you so much. We appreciate it.
I was when this project got presented to us in December, I was actually a very big fan of the original design, but I commend my fellow commissioners for bringing up the points that they had towards it, because I think it just elevated the project that much more. I love the previous one, and I love this one even more, so I'm very happy with this one.
I also appreciate the applicant very much for going back and working with us and being patient with us and listening. I think it says a lot because you are residents of our city too. So I think we're all on the same wavelength. And I think in going back and giving feedback, I took very serious where you said, your church may outgrow, your congregation may outgrow this. You may want to maybe sell it for a different type of use. But I think it's a warm, inviting church, but with a few tweaks, it can be used for a lot of other things. So I think we were able to meet the middle ground and say, okay, yeah, it's a church right now. It can become something else with a few tweaks. So I feel like I'm hoping it met your needs as well as your future needs and the look we want for our city. The landscaping, I'm a big, big fan of landscaping. I really like the trees that are purple. Those reddish purples are some of my favorite trees because I feel like it breaks up the greenery and it brings in a lot of warmth. So I'm really glad you incorporated those just to change it up a little bit and complement the building. So thank you.
Okay, you could go longer if you want. No, I agree with everything they've said. It's a beautiful design. And it was an improvement over the tent, right? Especially when it was winter. Yeah, I drive down there maybe 100, 150 times, so I'm very familiar with that area. It's anything uplifting for this community, 100%. And I think the added features in the tower make a big difference. I think that the ad hoc committee, because that's just a small touch, but it makes a difference, especially even the front door. You're entering, that difference even makes a difference. So it's better than looking at you have the sheriff's department put people in jail, and you have the church to do the other end, right? So they get out of jail, they come to you, right? So positive thing on that corner. Yes, yeah. Which one? So I really appreciate the patience and then the beautiful design here. And working with them, it was probably pretty, it really didn't have to add much because I thought, like him, I thought it really looked good, but they added the touches, especially on the towers where you have the lighting there. It's going to make a big difference. So good job. Nothing to stop this whatsoever. And hopefully you can get it started as soon as possible. Big improvement. And I go back a long way on that corner, guys. But it's a big improvement for that area. And hopefully that you'll be able to be very fruitful in what you're doing there. And we thank you for this. And nothing to add. So without that, I don't think we really had any amendments at all. So
No amendments,
No
just the
amendment?
color scheme working.
Color scheme,
Yeah,
yeah.
making sure it matches. That was it.
okay.
And the
Oh, yeah. I thought that was, okay. Okay, so we have a color, okay, we got to have a motion first. The motion would be, to add these amendments would be the color scheme to be worked out with staff, or you want the lighter color?
I like the lighter color that is on the
Okay, the lighter color, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and
not
then,
the creamy peachy color, but the,
okay, okay, the lighter color, and then also the vines, real vines. Yeah, real vines. It would be, so those would be added in the landscape portion? Yeah. Okay, I'm not sure, we can add those in there, the color scheme. Okay, I think that was it. Okay, I think that was it, so. And at this time, let me read it. Gotta get back in the swing of this in the new year, right? Okay. Item 6A is a conditional use permit, 22-05284, continued from the December 6, 2023 meeting, a proposal to construct a 27,132 square foot church building on a 3.72 acre lot, located at 251 North Paris Boulevard on the east side of Paris Boulevard, between San Jacinto Avenue and the I-215 freeway, within the Civic Center zone of the Paris Downtown Specific Plan. Requested action, adopt resolution number 23-37, finding the project is categorically exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act review pursuant to section 15332, infill development projects, and approving CUP 22-05284, based on the findings and subject to the conditions of approval, adding the color scheme to be reviewed, adding on a brighter color scheme or whatever terminology they just wrote down, and vines, because I didn't get, and vines, real vines, real vines along the south portion adjacent to the wall. Okay. And we just need a motion now. Motion by Commissioner Gomez, moved, and seconded by Vice Chair Shively.
Commissioner Gomez,
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Jimenez,
Yes?
Vice Chair Shively,
Yes.
Chair Hammond.
Yes.
With a vote,
It's new, yeah, it's a new year, yes, I kind of forgot. Okay, that's fine.
with a vote of 5-0, this motion is approved.
Just to clarify for the record, approving the project with the conditions.
Yes.
Thank
Yeah, it's approved 5-0. I know. Oh, well. Thank you very much. We move on to item 7. Thank you very much, Sylvia. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, gentlemen. We move on to item 7, business items. I don't believe there are any business items. And on to item 8, public comments. Anyone in the public, I know, but you got to do it. Anyone in the public would like to make a comment on any item not on the agenda is free to come to the dais and comment on any item that they see fit before the commission. And seeing none, we close public comments. Move on to commission members' announcements and reports, item 9, and anything from the commissioners.
Just want to start off by wishing everybody a happy new year. We got very lucky with the first meeting of the year being very fast and right to the point. I'm looking forward to what this year brings for us. I know it's going to be a busy schedule ahead of us, so I'm looking forward to it and ready to take on whatever projects come our way. Besides that, I just want to wish everybody a good night, and I hope you all take care.
Yes, Happy New Year, everyone. I'm very happy to be back here and looking forward to what the new year will bring. I had a very, I guess this year is going to be, there's going to be a lot of change this year. I feel like this is a year where we see a lot of changes going on in our country. We see a lot of changes going on, in our city. Even personally, my baby is going to be 1 year old this month. He's turning 1. Can you believe it? I know. I know already. And so it just reminds us that time just keeps moving no matter what you're doing. And it really helps appreciate the small moments. Happy birthday to the January babies amongst us. And, those little things, they just start to mean a little more as we get older and we start to see the families growing and everything changing around us, and knowing that nothing stops time. Nothing will stop time. So I'm looking forward to what this year has to bring, and always just reminding our fellow residents that they are more than welcome to join us and to give us their feedback, their opinions. We want to hear from you. And, yeah, so here's to the new year, everybody.
Your turn. I wish everybody Happy New Year. I hope everybody was safe, as we probably see everybody was, so I appreciate that very much. I stayed at home away from everyone, which is my yearly tradition. But, Happy New Year to everybody. The only quick announcement I have, which I seen, is some improvements actually to the Paris, I think it's Paris Plaza. It's next to the Chick-fil-A and next behind the AT&T store over there that they recently constructed, is that Tesla added, about 14, 15 charging stations, which I thought was very good for the city of Paris where they were located. So that's all I got.
Happy New Year, everybody, and happy birthday to our January babies, or grown-ups, adults. And on Commissioner Gomez's same note, your baby's turning 1, my baby's turning 15, so we are going to go into full quinceañera planning swing coming up. Yeah. And you're right, time doesn't stop, and we have to enjoy it. I hope tonight's meeting kind of sets the precedence for the rest of our meetings this year, where things are just done, the applicants are as amazing as the one that were before us today, and just absorb our positive energy and all the positive things we want to see in our city. So I really hope that, and again, I look forward to another year of serving with you all. I'm happy we're all back again. Our staff is amazing as always. Nice to see everyone. So it feels good to be back. We had a 3-week break off from school, which normally is 2 weeks, and that week made such a difference because it's usually rushing for Christmas and rush for New Year's, and then you go back like a few days later. That extra week gave me time to recover from the holidays, so that was nice. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to take up the 3 hours that we're missing here. So you better get some coffee. Okay, 2 hours and 59. No. You have to do it here. I haven't used it yet, though. No, I really want to say Happy New Year, of course. I can't say enough about staff here at the City of Paris, and I work with staff, all kinds of staff here for 20 years, and this staff is makes you feel at home, literally. And you really can't say that about too many staffs. I mean, usually it's like, that's not the case here. You don't have to agree on everything, but the point is, from Kenneth on down, and we really appreciate you coming in, Patricia. Stay here. Don't leave the Menifee. It's a throw, I like to put a dig in on them. But we really appreciate the staff, and thank you for today. And really, Sylvia, I have to thank you, getting us all fat again at the start of the year, right? But she's a workhorse. I know she is. And I'm constantly, she'll get me on the phone. I said, stop with the email. Just get me on the phone, okay? You don't need all that other stuff. But I really appreciate it. We look forward to it. There's going to be a lot of projects. Some of them I have mentioned, you guys, but they're going to come forward. And some of them will be big, and some of them are going to be the usual stuff. But and I'm even thankful for our city attorney. She didn't beat me up today, which is good. But yeah, it's still time, I know. Two things. One thing, too, and she's probably going to remind you, I'm going to double remind you. If you can't, you can. There's going to be a Planning Commission, League of California Cities, March 6th through the 8th. It ain't free, but I'm going to have to do it to myself, too. If I'm going to go, and that's a Wednesday through Friday, now's the time to put in because I'm going to be in Long Beach, California. And I can tell you, I lived in Long Beach when I went to school. It was a dump. I'm just being honest. It was a total dump. And there's nothing like that now. The aquarium, Pacific, all that is totally different. So, and the raceway used to be Toyota. They run the cars right down 7th Street, and you couldn't sleep. There's just no getting any sleep. But it's come a long way since the late 70s, 80s, okay? So if you have a chance to, we put it in pretty soon. I missed this year. Last year just wasn't physically ready, but I intend to go this year. So if you can, you can. Go and put it in. I think she already sent a link to that. But it's going to be a little bit, I think it's more strategic this year. Some of these way out subjects they had before, but really planning commissions, how to conduct those type of things. Yeah, like I should be teaching them, right? Meetings and things of that sort. And I think it'll be well worth a while if you can. The other thing, too, I'm mentioning things because I get it on the record, so when you guys do it, you can always go back and say, oh, he did mention it. One thing, they have a new MAPS GPS or GIS system, and so hopefully at some point in time, so you can say, yeah, he did mention it at a meeting. I know the routine, Brown Act. So if they've got a new system, you can go to it and you can look down all the different areas in the city. MF 14 zone, all these other zones are there, so he kind of showed it to me. But hopefully in the near future, they'll come up and do that. So I'm just putting it on, so when they put it on the agenda, they can't say, we never mentioned it at meeting. We want to protect our city people here too. And eventually a tour with the engineers. We want a tour with the engineers so they can show us what engineering is out and what these ducts and all these other things are about, and we can show them what we don't like. But I think it's never been done, and I'm one of those people that does things that has never been done before. And going with an engineer, you start seeing things from their perspective, and they see things from ours. You want that. These projects come, what do you talk about a duct? We talk about an E line, L line, Z line. You know, what do you mean by this? Oh, that's what you mean by it, because I'm looking at it. What do you talk about those pork chops? Now we're seeing the trucks stacking or not stacking. Why? Because they put that there. You want to see that, and you want the engineering things. So look at some of the designs. So I think it'd be a good idea in the future to do too. So those are things that we can come up with that are beneficial and totally 100% Planning Commission level, because we need to know that. So hopefully we'll get through this year with a lot of projects. We had great progress in 2023. You know, In-N-Out's doing well. Trust me, I pass by there every day. And Raising Cane's, we'll be competing with them pretty soon, and some other ones, I'm sure. But when that corner is going to be busy, guys, super busy. But that's fine. So anyway, I turn it over to the Director of Development Services, well, our Planning Director anyway, for whatever information, future dates, and all the other above. Thank you.
Thank you, and Happy New Year to everyone. I'm excited to be back. 2024 is going to be another great year, but we're starting you a little light with projects. For the upcoming meeting, we're going to have a project that you've seen already. It's the industrial building over on Mapes and Trumbull. It was denied and it was appealed to City Council. City Council directed the applicant to come back to Planning Commission for feedback with a revised project that includes a reduced industrial development and more of a business park development in the front. So it'll be coming back to you at the next meeting for your feedback, not for action. The other thing that I'm bringing back is development update. I know you've asked about it, so I'll be presenting that to you. The suggestions for a tour with the engineer is a great one. I like that. We'll be planning that ahead. And also, we'll plan ahead a GIS presentation as requested. I think that's a great request also. As far as events coming up, we have on January 20th, the Help Plant Trees in our city. That's going to be at Paragon Park from 8 to 12 and at Rotary Park from 9 to 1. So hopefully we can see all of you there. And that's all I have to report. Thank you.
I'm not sure if we got to watch it because it might be raining on Saturday. So I hope they, yeah.
I'm
It's
not
just,
sure.
we get drenched putting it in though. I have put trees down in Paris. Trust me. I'm not gonna say where, but I've done it. It's fun. You know, and you go back and say, oh, that's where we put them. Most people have no idea where we put them. But yeah, it's fun. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Any other comments from our city attorney, who's still smiling, so she must be agreeable with this. And thank you to our interpreter in there. How's it going? Really nice guy. You should talk to him. Really nice. Yeah.
Patricia, I did have a question. I just don't want to push it any longer, but I remember that we had mentioned in the past the landscape and the maintenance of the new shopping centers that are or that have been developed, and we noticed that there was, you know, where the new Tesla charging stations are at. Can we get an update on that as well and find out where we're at with that? And just some information on how we're able to how do you determine which tenant is responsible for maintenance and cleanliness of their area. Because I know that some shopping centers have like a maintenance crew that comes in and cleans it all up, but some shopping areas in our city are older, and they're actually not, they're not built that way, or they weren't, there's no policy for them in that regard. So for those older ones, it'd be interesting to know how they are, for example, the owner of Nuevo and Paris Boulevard, the gas station right there. So we've all noticed it, right? So it's an eyesore. Who is responsible for keeping that area clean? And if it's divided by tenants, how does the city determine that? So,
Yeah, I can definitely look into it and report back to you.
thank you.
Especially, I think she's talking about like there was a Rite Aid, a totally different color than the other Burlington. And I don't know if it's West Development or who that is, but it's pretty bad. But that's before my era, so can't say I voted for it. I was way before me, so do not blame me. But yeah, who manages that is a great thing. And it's not necessarily court enforcement. They have to stick to their condition of approval. So this is not being maintained. So that's one of those things that would be added to. At least we say we brought it forth. It would be good to find it. That is that one is because it's so visible. When you come to Wavo, that's the most visible, and the landscaping is. Okay. With that, and I want to say a special thanks to IT people. They can't say anything, but I thank them for
Yes,
their
thank you.
patience. And
Britta?
yes, especially IT because they really work us, and sometimes we're away from the mics, they pick it up. So I really appreciate IT. Thanks. So I think the 23rd is a celebration. I have something else on the 25th I have to go to. It happens when you're chairman. So I appreciate it, and then enjoy the rest of the month. And it won't be until February I don't know the date, but in February we'll meet again. 7th, okay. Thank you very much, and good night. And we adjourn, and I don't think we need any name. We just all say yes.